Hi, welcome to Premier. We are so excited that you have joined our Premier family and that you're on this journey now of growing and building a great business. So as a new jeweler, I know you probably have a lot of questions. And you know what? You have a sponsoring jeweler that is there to help you and to advise you. And we just want to come alongside you and help you as well. My name is Melissa Terrell. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I've been in Premier for a little over 30 years, which is so hard to believe. But I have loved what I have done for all these years. I think it is such a fabulous company to be a part of. And I really do love doing jewelry shows and all kinds of events now that we can do. It's so exciting. I've done probably over 1,500 jewelry shows by now. And so I clearly love what I do, and we just want to help you again, come alongside you and give you some more advice and help you in your business. So first of all, I just want to say, you know, there are certain elements to a jewelry show, a real live in-person event that you do. And there are certain things that you do that are key to the entire presentation, the whole process. So that's what I want to talk to you just a little bit about today. And that is just really preparing and planning for your show. You know, it all begins really with preparation. You know, think it through. Think about how you want to do your show and what feels comfortable to you. Preparation is truly one of the keys to your success. And you know what it's going to do for you? It is going to build your confidence. So when you go into that show, you're going to feel really good about what you have to offer. Okay, so let's talk about at the very beginning of your show, you're at a presentation that you're going to do. You have a hostess, you've got some guests, hopefully. And, you know, it all begins really just in meeting and greeting them properly. So the very first part of your show actually is what we call the meet and greet time. And that's when you are simply introducing yourself, getting to know them. You are building rapport and building relationships with them. You even answer the door to kind of help the hostess out. She's usually in the kitchen, scurrying around, getting last minute things together. And so it's helpful if you, as the jeweler, you know, kind of take on that role just to meet people at the door and greet them properly. And, you know, just start asking them questions. I remember one time somebody said, well, Melissa, how do you build rapport? How do you do that so quick? The number one way you do that really is just by asking questions. You know, they want to know that you genuinely care about them and you want to know them. So you can ask them things like, how do you know the hostess? Or where do you live? What area of town? Where, you know, have you ever heard of Premier? Have you ever been to a Premier show? Those are some typical basic questions that you begin asking them right at the beginning. Maybe they're putting on a name tag as you're doing that, but you greet them, you say, hey, come on in. You know, Mary, the hostess, is in the kitchen. Introduce yourself and just have fun with that. You might even also just bring them over to the table and start looking at the jewelry right away. A lot of girls do that. You might even suggest that they put something on if they like it, or select something maybe if they want to show it to people. You can start asking them maybe what kind of jewelry they like, or if they're looking for anything special. So you just kind of have fun. You're kind of in between maybe the kitchen and or the dining room table, kitchen table, wherever the jewelry is. And you're just having fun getting to know them. And really, after about 10 or 15 minutes, you know, when most people have gotten there or they're arriving, then it's a good time to go ahead and get started. Because, you know, you don't want to just waste that time waiting for that last one or two to come. You know, there's always going to be one or two that straggle in, but really by the time you kind of go through introductions, those people are usually there. So even if your hostess is asking, hey, can we wait? Can we wait? Can we wait for so-and-so? I always like to say, hey, why don't we just get started? And I'm sure by the time we kind of get everyone in and started, they'll be here by then. So it's better to go ahead and honor those people who have gotten there at the very beginning. Now, let's talk about how you even get them to go sit down and to have a little time wherever your presentation is going to be. You've already thought that through where you're going to have your presentation. So you want them to kind of gather in. You can either get your hostess to help you, or you can even just kind of make a general announcement like, hey ladies, we're going to go in and sit down so I can tell you a few things all at once and show you some of our pieces of jewelry, and I think you're going to love it. So you can kind of start out by doing something like that. Or some girls they even have an on-time drawing. Boy, that gets them in there to sit down and kind of get the whole thing started. So I just kind of learned that at the very beginning when I was new, to kind of how to get them to transition from kind of mixing and mingling. And you really have to kind of play that by ear. Some groups know each other so well and they want to visit. And so you kind of may give them a little bit more time to do that, but you kind of have to feel that as you go. Some groups, honestly, they don't even know each other very well. She may have invited a few from work, a few from the neighborhood, a few from church, wherever, and they're all just kind of introducing and meeting each other. So those groups are kind of the ones that like to go ahead and sit down and get started really quick. All right, so when you sit down, when they are sitting down, and you're about to begin your presentation, honestly, pretty much anything goes. You can stand up, you can sit down, whatever is comfortable for you. It really doesn't matter. But I must say, the very first thing you want to do is introduce yourself, right? That's important. They're curious a little bit about you, but you don't want to go on and on about yourself. Heavens no. You just want to tell a little bit about maybe how you heard about Premier. You might want to say a sentence or two, just what you're looking forward to and why you chose to do this and how excited you are. That's the main thing you want to kind of convey just at the very beginning. And you also want to always thank your hostess. You might tell everybody how you know her. She might be a great friend of yours, or she might have booked off of another friend of yours. But just kind of tell in general maybe how you know her, and you're going to thank her. Some girls like to present her with something at that time, a gift or whatever. Maybe your sponsoring jeweler did that in some way at your launch. But just, have a time when you really sincerely thank your hostess and then even thank them for coming. How much you appreciate them being there, because I know you do. Okay, so make sure you say that. And then you might have everybody go around and introduce themselves. That's always a fun way to kind of get to know them and for them to get to know each other. So some girls like to do that where you say, hey, tell us your name. Tell us maybe how you know the hostess. Some jewelers like to say, hey, tell us what you love about your hostess. That's really fun too, because the hostess sometimes, if she's not even expecting that, she kind of likes that actually. And it's really a neat little thing to do. So you can do that. You can ask them maybe what they did during the day. There's all kinds of questions that you can ask, but just don't, just have them maybe say their name in one thing. Real quick, just go around and kind of warm it up. And so the next thing that you're going to want to do is just tell them a little bit about Premier, just a little bit. Tell them how much you maybe are impressed with the company and how you've realized that it's a company built on service or biblical principles, which basically means it's a company built on service and integrity. You might want to share that the company started in 1985. You might want to say something about that it's located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. So those kind of things people do like to know, and it does just add credibility. Sometimes you kind of can ask for, hey, how many of you have ever heard of Premier? What your experience has been with Premier, that kind of thing, just in general. So you want to tell them just a little bit about Premier before you really go on. And sometimes I just kind of get my transition sentences that are already set. So I know that I might transition from telling them a little bit about Premier and what I love about Premier, and then I might go into what I love about our jewelry. Sometimes I explain a little bit about what this type of jewelry is. That it's high fashion jewelry and it's not the real thing, or the heirloom jewelry. It's not costume jewelry. It's kind of the bridge in between the two types of jewelry. So sometimes I explain that just so they'll know in general what kind of jewelry this is. And you'll tell them a little bit more about that when you show it to them. So you just kind of start with generalities about the company and then about the jewelry, and then you go into, but let me tell you what I love the most about our jewelry, and that is the guarantee. So you need to really explain that guarantee really well, real short, but really well, because that is another huge thing that they need to know and really want to know. And it just adds, again, more credibility to you and to our company and to the jewelry. So you want to explain that it's in the first 60 days, right? That they can try out their piece, put it on, wear it, and enjoy it. If anything happens to that piece in the first 60 days, they can return it with no charge. After the 60 days, you'll explain there's a $7 shipping and handling fee to return the item, but that's kind of like store credit, that even if something has happened to their piece, that they can return it or exchange it for something else. And that policy is incredible. I really like to say store credit because people can kind of understand that they're going to be not getting necessarily a refund, but that they're going to be exchanging it for another item. I even like to explain really what normal wear and tear is. Don't ever say something that's too good to be true. Don't explain it as a lifetime guarantee. We know our jewelry can wear. With normal wear and tear, though, it's going to last a very long time. And so sometimes it's good to even explain some of the care, for the jewelry. Some girls talk a little bit about, hey, if you take care of your piece, it's going to last you a very long time. And a lot of it is just not showering in it. It's not sleeping in it. It's not spraying or sweating and all of those things, but taking care of your piece of jewelry. So explain that as our golden guarantee, because again, it is a huge selling point to our product, and that's what you want to convey. Now, after you've done the golden guarantee, okay, you're going to explain to them maybe a little bit more about the jewelry, because what have they come for? They have come to see the jewelry, right? So you want to explain some generalities about the jewelry, but you want to explain to them really that it's all about style, right? Fashion is what you buy, but style is how you put it together. So see, you're kind of getting some maybe transition sentences to segue into your fashion segment of your show. That's where you're going to model and show the jewelry. And that's really where the fun begins, because you kind of interact with the people. Now, whether you're modeling jewelry on clothes, on a hanger, if you model it on a mannequin, if you model it on real live people, it really doesn't matter as long as you're showing the jewelry and the creativity and the versatility of our pieces and the styles that you can create with our jewelry. Y'all, that really is the fun part of our business, is getting to show the jewelry. And that's what everybody loves about our show. And that's why really they come and walk away saying, oh my gosh, I learned so much. Or they walk away saying, wow, I need some of that jewelry, or I need you to help me with my jewelry. Y'all, it all boils down to service. And if you're servicing them and helping them develop some style and some fun with their jewelry, y'all, they will love you, they will book with you, and they will become your customers. And that's really what you want. Okay, sometimes, you never know if they're going to buy or how much they're going to buy. But what you want to do is create this atmosphere of creating the need for jewelry and basically creating the need that they need you for their jewelry. So that's what you really want to create, because that is going to last longer than just maybe the sale for that night. So that's what you really want to create as maybe a goal for the evening. My personal goal for the show, the presentation, the event, whatever you want to call it, is for everybody to just have a great time and to learn a lot. Because you know what? Some girls may not even be able to purchase or purchase very much, but they may want to have a jewelry show or an event or a presentation of some kind with you. And so that's, again, what you want to create. So just don't worry about it, and think about those elements of just having a great time. And if you do that, you'll relax and you'll put the focus on them and have so much fun. So those are some of the things that you really do want to focus on. There's lots of ways, again, to model and show our jewelry. So have fun with that. You know, you can get all kinds of information, even from girls who are showing YouTube videos or some of the videos that are on Premier's website to help you with all of those basic things. But there's a lot of basic tips about the modeling that you can convey. You know, things like layering or twisting pieces, the pieces that come apart, and all the million things that you can do with all the pieces. That to me is creating the need for those pieces of jewelry. So have fun with that. So that's kind of the modeling section. Now, I do want to say though, be flexible. Pay attention to what they're liking and to what they're, you know, talking about, and listening. Listen to what they're saying about what even pieces that they like. Because your job, again, is to help them make some really great choices of things that they really do want. Again, it's called creating the need for jewelry. So those things are kind of techniques. So after you finish that little segment, okay, of your show, right? Now let's back up. You've had a meet and greet time. You have enjoyed doing that. You've sat down, you've started a presentation, everyone's introduced themselves. You've told a little bit about Premier, a little bit about how great our jewelry is with this guarantee. And then you start showing some jewelry, right? So all that is kind of the first part of the jewelry show. The second part of this jewelry show or event would be explaining. Now you've shown the jewelry, so now you want to explain that hostess plan, the hostess perks that we give away for those who want to have a show. So that's going to be the next section you want to do, is explain that, and then go into, again, your booking and your sponsoring, and that's kind of the second part of the show. People ask me all the time, so how long should this last, right? I want to say to you, the shorter the better, clearly. Because people, again, they've come to visit, they've come to play in the jewelry, and all that is so important. So you don't want to have this presentation time too long. You want to be really quick and concise. That's why, again, it goes back to being prepared and being precise with it. So you go on and you do that part. But I must say, this little time of explaining the hostess plan is really critical. This kind of sets you up for your bookings, and this is the key, because this is what you really do want to focus on next, and that is explaining the hostess plan. Okay, so our hostess plan is amazing. It is the best there is out there. 30% in product with the sales of the show. That's amazing. With a $200 minimum, they get so very much. 30% is huge in this type of industry. Plus, they can get 4 to 8 items, half price, depending on what their total retail is. Y'all, that is phenomenal. And Premier sometimes has different promotions, or you can even offer yourself different perks or promotion to add to that, to treat those hostesses really, really special. So think through some of those things. Get some advice. Go to training. Here's some great ideas that you can incorporate in your own business that you want to develop. But our hostess plan is amazing. And the bottom line is, the thing you want to convey more than anything is that it's a lot of free jewelry. But you know what else, girls, I've learned through the years? Sometimes those who want to have shows with you, it's not necessarily all about the free jewelry. It is the fact that they have enjoyed themselves that night, that it's been so much fun, and they want to have that time with their girlfriends. You know, it just seems we don't have enough time with our girlfriends, and we have to schedule it, or else it just doesn't happen. So you can kind of convey that as, you know what, I like to say, hey, are y'all busy? Are y'all super busy? Man, it just seems like women are busier today than ever before. And let me tell you, if you don't have scheduled girlfriend time, it just doesn't happen. So a lot of girls like to have these kind of things just as an excuse to get their friends together. So let me tell you, if you think that might be something you'd want to do, let me tell you what we would say, or what we would give back to you to say thank you. And then you can go right into the hostess benefits. But just, again, express how generous it is, but more importantly, how much fun it is to have a show. I like to also explain that there are reasons for having shows, right? It might be that, hey, you've remodeled your house and you just want to show it off to everybody. Or you've had a baby and you want to show off your little baby to everybody. There's all kinds of reasons why people want to get together. Sometimes it could be that, again, they just haven't seen their friends in a while and they just want to do that. So there's all kinds of reasons why people want to have shows. And there's all kinds of ways to have a show. Some people have it in their homes, their offices, the Panera Bread, Starbucks. There's pretty much anything goes now as far as how to have a show and why they even want to have a show, all right, or any kind of event. We kind of say show, but it's synonymous to event, right? So you want to kind of give them some ideas and let them know there's all kinds of reasons and there's all kinds of ways to have a jewelry event. And basically, you're going to get a lot of free jewelry just by doing that. Sometimes I'll say, have you just seen too many things that you just love, but that you can't maybe afford tonight, but you saw a lot of pieces that you really would love and that you feel would give you that extra style for your outfits and your wardrobe? You might want to consider having a jewelry show. So anyway, it's so easy. You want to paint this as something fun and simple and super easy for them to do, okay? That's how you'll get the bookings that you'll want to further your business and to, gosh, build your business. So make sure you slow down and really explain that hostess plan really well with lots of examples and lots of, explanations as to why they might want to have a show. And I bet they will. And that's what you'll do when you go into what's called your booking activity. And that's how it kind of solidifies. Listen, there is so much to learn about this business. It's such a simple business, though. But there's lots of things that you can learn just to get better and better and better at it. Be patient with yourself and give yourself some time. Y'all, there's a learning curve to this to feel comfortable, right? Some of you may have started with quick start. Some of you may have had a slower start. It really doesn't matter. All that matters is that you jump in and you start doing it. Because you know what? I've always said, you learn this business by doing. So get out there and start doing this business. Because you know what? The quicker you do it, the quicker you'll learn it. And then you'll have so much fun and enjoy it. And you'll realize, gosh, I have made a great decision. So we just wish you all the best. And I just pray that God just totally blesses you and blesses your efforts. So we're so excited again that you've joined Premier. Bye-bye.